All right, South Africa, the TMS Book Club out and about, back at the Book Circle namhlanje ekuseni. We've got a very special guest today, William Monama. You've seen him on the morning show many times before. He's performed for you live on the show. We've chatted to him about many a thing. But today specifically, he's got a brand new book. He's now a published author.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm fine. Published author, yes. It took a long time, you know.
Yeah.
It's 15 years, you know.
15.
But, yes. It sounds many years, but remember there's me being a recording artist. I need to record music.
Yes.
I still need to perform.
Yes.
It was not just only solely focusing on the writing, and also the research took time because there were legalities, you know, the right to clear the music,
right,
and to clear the photos. To find those photos, first of all, it was difficult, especially the
How dusty were those archives, Billy, that you had to go through? Talk to me about that. I imagine you had to dig.
Yes, I had to dig, and many photo libraries or institutions, they did not have those photos. You know, people who helped me to locate those photos, they were the families.
Wow.
The families, they played a major role, significant role, to confirm the date of birth and you know, the location where he died, and all sort of things.
So that all the information is factual.
It's
and
factual,
correct.
yeah, because I'm presenting in this book, I'm presenting a research work.
Yeah.
So I cannot afford to thumbsuck. The families, they made everything possible, and you must understand now, I'm asking for a photo of someone who was born in 1924. The first guitar players of the jazz sound, the General Duzes, Almon Memela, and Enoch Tabete.
Yeah.
That's the first generation that played and recorded with the Miriam Makeba and the Dolira Tebe.
Okay, so this book is obviously called Introduction to South African Guitar Styles, Volume 1 by William Monama. Let's hear the styles, my guy.
Umaskan.
Maskan.
No, umpakang.
For me, when I read the title,
Yes.
it read to me like a textbook. But then I opened the book, I'm like, I actually spell it, I think. This is an
Yes.
actual book. It's call it a directory, if you will.
Yes.
If you wanted to learn how to play a certain
Style of music.
melody, right?
Yes. So I think for me it is more than that, because I dive into history, because then before each and every style of the music, I do take you through the historical background.
Sure.
So when we speak about umpaqanga, for example, I take you through the history, the formation, what was it made from. I interviewed people like Mami Hilda Klobatla, who was the innovator from the Matlatin and Motela Queens. I've interviewed the first electric bassist, black bassist, a bass player, Joseph Makwela. You know, they've given me information to write about this music just before I dive into the actual music.
Yeah.
So there are biographies.
Okay.
The personnels, each and every one who was influential, you know, like for example, if you speak about Mpaqanga guitar, you're gonna speak about Max Mankwani.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they.
Okay.
And Vivian Gubani, you know, those were the influential guitar players. And I know people, they ask me, Billy, why don't you choose Jimmy Lulu and other guitar players? They are coming on the volume 2. So this is volume 1. So volume 1, I'm capturing the musicians who had made an impact in developing the the guitar sound, that sonics
Yeah.
sound from the 1930s until 1980s.
Yeah.
So I call it
Because
the...
I imagine guys like Abo Sipho Kumete would have had their influences from the people you've written about in this
Yes.
book, right?
Yeah, I wrote about a biography about the guitar player who was working with Sipho Kumete by the name of Cyril Magubane. Cyril Magubane came at the Black Consciousness time in the 1970s. They released the album with the Heshu Beshu. So now the African jazz is in 3 installments. So
Okay.
there's the African jazz during the acoustic era, whereby so we call it Ukuvamba.
Okay.
Yeah, it's to strum. So, but the older generation, like people like Dorothy Masuku, whom I had a privilege to work with, the Jonas Gwangwa and so forth, they used to say, hey, don't find one, but how vambe labo? And I was always curious. What
Yini
do
lokuvamba
vamba
lo?
lona?
Yeah.
So now, as I was digging in the research and asking questions, they were telling me that this kind of music, I mean, like early recordings, the guitar in the 1930s, you'll find the migrants.
Yeah.
They come to Joburg, and then in the street corners, this is what they'll play. If you hear this sound,
The pace was quicker.
so I'm bringing all this in their biographies.
So for young musicians today, you're a young musician, Billy, but you obviously have a love for this history, right?
Yes.
If I'm picking this up and I'm at Kabzada Small, for instance, and I work with guitarists, right? And I'm trying to infuse this into the Amapiano genre that is now global.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
recently at the BT, some of the
Yes.
music was performed on stage. So how are you hoping that I can tap into this to make my music better?
Yeah. So now this book is like a Bible. It's like a point of reference.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, a Bible is something that when you need a verse, you
It's
go
the
to
blueprint.
Yes, you go to it and look like, oh, this what happened during the time of Moses. So
Yes.
now this is 1930. I'm not expecting the youth to play like that, but
Yeah.
I expect them to have a consciousness of what they're making music from.
How important is it, Billy, for us to have documented books that we can read that capture the essence of where Africa has been and where it's going musically?
That is why I took this decision to make this book. The reason what kept me going in writing and researching about this music is because I was conscientized at the young age, because I grew up in the showbiz. I was working with older musicians.
Yeah.
So now the first music that I played in my life, it was old music. You know, so then I grew up playing with older musicians. So I'm still patriotic. So it takes someone who's patriotic to take kind of, decisions like this to say,
Sure.
I'm going to write a book that is going to advance and help the solutions in advancing the education and the knowledge in the black society.
I like that. We're on volume 1 now. Volume 2 is on the way when?
Well, I think maybe...
Or am I putting you under pressure?
No, I think I can say 5 years from
Okay.
now.
Okay.
It takes time, because remember, the people, they never understood this kind of book when I was presenting it, because finances, I need to knock at the door, because research costs money, because I need to travel to...
Talk to me about that publishing
Yes.
journey. I
Yeah.
mean, you are published now.
Yes.
What's your story? How did it happen for you?
Oh my goodness. I had to knock different doors for many years. So that is why the book, it took 15 years, because it was stop and go. They're trying to convince the sponsorships to come on board. But
But it didn't stop you, man.
No!
You are here now.
I sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
People, they think that I hope you do them, because now people, they have this perception that when they see the sponsors, they already conclude that you made money.
Billy, listen, thank you so much for your time this morning. Are you
Yeah.
going to play us out with something? And while he does that, pick it up, the introduction to different styles of guitar playing. Ongibamba kwamancane, ongibambele eduze, khumbuze egoli mama, Ezola ongibeke esifubeni wemama